Hello everyone, Simon here. Welcome back to the architecture of Cyberpunk 2077. In this video we are going to check out the Northside Industrial District. So all that industrial stuff over there, that's Northside. Let me check the map. Zoom out a bit. It's a big district. We want to try and run through this relatively quickly. All of that. We're not gonna look at everything. We'll try and run around this way, come out here, come down here, and then up there, and then down there. That's the plan. Right. So north side used to be a busy industrial district of Night City, but in more recent years, the megacorps have moved in. And they've cornered the market on a lot of products, and a lot of the independent factories shut down. There are still factories that are operating in Northside, but they're mostly the megacorps. Right, so let me get over there if I can avoid getting run over. And I mean, already there's no pedestrian footpath. Right in front of us, there's a rather large all foods factory. In fact, you see those pipes up there? It extends that way too. So All Foods is a food production company. And I think these are all their warehouses. Look at that, there's big pipes there. And then there's giant tanks and all that. They produce processed food. I guess that's what you call it. I think their products come in a tube. It's like a tube of semi-fluid food-like substances, shall we say. It's a big factory, and we can't go inside, and we can't really tell what's going on by looking at the outside. But there's a main building there, there's a giant tank. I guess this is where they do distribution, packing and distributions down here, I guess. I guess mixing's up there, because the pipes come down, and then there's like doors leading out, and then there's containers over there, so I guess this is where they do shipping down here. Maybe. Not sure what that is. That might actually be employee accommodation. Maybe. Or it could be offices. Or it could be unrelated. But I think it is related because it's the same building there, right? Let me run up a little bit. So All Foods, there they are. Limited edition. Let me just check those ads. Buy 2, get 1 free. So you see that guy. It's kind of creepy, but okay. Best deal. So they have like a vegetable tube, and then they have a meat tube. Look at that. So he's holding that tube there. So the food comes in a plastic tube. Kind of like baby food, I guess. And there's a meat version and a vegetable version. All right. So there's tanks over on this side where they keep the materials, the raw materials for producing whatever that stuff is. And all the pipes and factories. Let me try not to fall off here. Alright, we get up to here and there we go. This road is kind of blocked now. Where does that go? I guess that goes back down to Watson. Oh, there it is. So there's the main building of All Foods. In the game, as you play through the story, we find out that the main building here has been taken over by the Maelstrom gang. Which is odd because I think All Foods should still be in business. So it's not clear why part of the factory has been taken over by a gang. Like there's All Foods ads on the TV. If you watch television, you see their ads. And people definitely need to eat food, so I don't know. But they chose to put the Maelstrom gang here. Not sure if that makes sense. So this will be like the offices, right? The factories are down there, office up here. And those might be also employee accommodation. There's some that looks like apartments. This here, there's a bit of a stormwater drain Except it goes downhill both ways, so I'm not sure where the water comes from and where it goes. This might just be for decorative purposes. If you run down that way, it goes under the river there, and if you go down that way, it goes down into the Badlands. And it's downhill both ways, so it's not like the water comes down and then goes out to the river. No, no, no. It goes down both ways. Doesn't really make sense. Not sure if they thought about it very much. There's a bunch of factories over there. No idea what those factories are supposed to be. I think a lot of this is just meant to be industrial backdrop. Like, it doesn't mean anything. Just vaguely industrial looking stuff. There's some big smokestacks over there. Let's run over there. Big power pylons, but not that many wires actually. That's curious. And the wires come down from the big building. That could be a power plant. It does look a bit like a power plant. It does have big smokestacks. Some sort of a thermal power plant burning maybe gas? I think gas power plants are more vertical. Could be coal, could be gas, who knows. Right, more industrial backdrop there. Not sure if any of that means anything. There's a bunch of tanks here, right? These could be gas tanks. Could be a gas-fired power plant. There's a big A and a B. So it could be like 2 turbines. On the power plant, maybe? Can't really know for sure, because we can't go inside and there's no label on it. But you can see the big wires carrying electricity. Yeah, this probably is a power plant, right? Given the wires leading out from it in every direction. Some abandoned... Are these abandoned? They look abandoned. Abandoned warehouses? Or if they're not abandoned, they're not used very intensively. And then we get to the edge of the district here, right? Out there is the Badlands. Let me stay on the roads. A lot of Northside is just vaguely industrial stuff. Like, it doesn't have much depth or meaning to it. Although there are some bits that are kind of interesting. Let me run through. On the edge here, there's a little bit of an apartment building. Again, doesn't really make sense why there's an apartment building out here. Maybe the factory workers would live here. But it's on the wrong side of the district, right? You would want to live on the city side. Because there's nothing out here if you live out here. What does that say? It says like Longshore North. I mean, maybe there's meant to be some shops here at some point, but a lot of this looks abandoned. I mean, maybe once upon a time there were businesses out here. There are apartments in there, but it's pretty ugly. Alright, moving around this way. Yeah, so as we get to the edge of the district, you see that a lot of these are derelict. Coming this way, look at that back there. Biotechnica. Biotechnica, the T's behind the thing in front. So there's a big Biotechnica thing over there, and that's very interesting because it doesn't look anything like anything in the real world, right? So there's a frame, there's a giant, massive concrete frame. And then on top of that, we have that, and then like another 2 squares up there. And strange. What is that? What could that be? So I think what that is a loading facility for one of those flying transports. Remember, can we find one? Remember there's like flying vehicles, not that one. There are big flying transports that occasionally fly around the city. So I think, like, because why would it be that high up, right? And why would it be shaped like that? Like, the only thing I can think of is, you know, a loading station for a big flying transport. Because otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't look like anything we have in the real world. And if you run over there, the building doesn't have any openings at the ground level. There's like this one tiny door. But otherwise it doesn't interact with the surrounding area at all. It's just this huge thing above you. So it'll be like accessed by flying vehicles, aerial vehicles. Look at that, right? What does that look like? Yeah, no, I think it's like a factory up there. There's a factory up there. And also they just access it with flying transports. What's out here? Got a bunch of... It looks abandoned. Abandoned warehouses, old factory buildings. Oh, let me get back out. Should we run? Let me just run over there to the bottom of the big Biotechnica building. Anyways, I'll just show you like what it looks like at ground level, right? So down here, hey, look, factories. Not factories, warehouses. I probably shouldn't jump over there. So this thing, you see how it's just big, monolithic. You see how it touches the ground, and there's like nothing down here? There's no doors. I think I can survive this jump. Ow. There's basically nothing at ground level, right? And there's no windows either. So they have no interest in interacting with the surrounding industrial district. So there's some attached buildings down here, but these don't really have doors either. Let me check the other side of this. Massive, massive, massive megacorp factory. I want to get on top of this. Pretty cool, but impossible to read. And like down here, there's nothing. There's no doors or anything. Yeah, so it's just all up there. I wish we could like understand what the industrial process is. There are some other buildings, so there's pipes, right? So there's attached buildings down here, and then there are pipes that lead over to that side, and look at that. There's a number of greenhouses over there. We know that Biotechnica is a biotech company, hence the name. Ah. I think they do food and they do biofuel. So there's a bunch of pipes, and I guess it does kind of lead to the giant factory up there. Alright, don't get run over. And so these pipes come across this way, right? And then we have these greenhouses. We can't see inside, they're opaque. A lot more pipes, some storage, probably like a water tank. Climate control. And then stuff inside here. Who knows what's inside there? So some sort of biological process, probably. It looks like a greenhouse. And they grow stuff here. They pipe it over there, and then they load it onto their ships, I guess. Or their, their flying vehicles, I guess is what this is. Again, I just wish they told us what this is and what they're making here, right? Alright, so this is the Biotechnica part of Northside. They've got a big facility here. But I think... Okay, so I should have... like, talk about the way it doesn't interact with the neighborhood. Because in an industrial district, in a normal industrial district in the real world, you have factories, and you have factory workers, and maybe there'll be like places for people to get food. Like there'll be some businesses in the surrounding area because workers need to eat. Maybe there'll be like bars where they go after work to get a drink or something. So there's some commercial activity even in an industrial district because the people have needs, right? But in the game, the megacorps do not interact with the external economy. All the megacorps are completely vertically integrated, right? And so if you look at all the megacorp architecture, they generally don't have windows, and they barely even have doors. And the people inside do not interact with anyone outside. If they have drinks, I guess the bars are inside the building, right? If they have food, if they buy lunch, I guess they have canteens inside the buildings. So the megacorps, it's everything self-contained. And everything's internal, everything looks inwards. And so as we look over there at the Biotechnica thing, whatever that is, there's no windows and there's no doors. And when a company does that, when a megacorp does that, it kills the surrounding economy, right? Because all the workers who work for Biotechnica inside that building, they don't come out to have lunch, they don't come out to buy anything, they don't come out for drinks. And so, you know, if you're like selling food or selling drinks on the outside, you don't have any business. Because all the other businesses have shut down because they can't compete with the megacorps. And then the megacorps don't buy stuff from you, everything's internal. So it kills the local economy, and it moves all the businesses inside the vertically integrated monolith of the megacorp. So that's the economic dynamics at work, and you can see that in the architecture as well. Like there's no windows and doors on the big building, and then all the businesses outside, they're either part of that facility, which you see the pipes in this. So this is part of the whatever it is, Biotechnica. So this is part of the Biotechnica facility, and anything that's not part of the megacorp facilities, they're just derelict and abandoned, and they don't get any business, right? So you can see the economic dynamics in the architecture. Alright, moving this way, we have more smokestacks and cooling towers. So usually that means a power plant. Power plants need a lot of cooling because you're using heat, right, to turn the turbines, and you have to get rid of the waste heat somehow. So usually these shapes mean a power plant. It doesn't have to be. Some other industrial processes also create a lot of heat and they need cooling towers. So usually it's a power plant, but it doesn't have to be. It could be something else. We are not sure. Maybe when we get closer we get some clues. Maybe. No. No. Alright, there's signs. There used to be an entry here, by the way, but they've walled it off. Right, the road used to go in here, but that's been walled off. So who even knows what's there anymore? We're gonna get on a bike. I'm gonna go around there. I'm gonna go around the back, around the outside. It will be faster on a bike. Alright, through here. So this is like the edge of the industrial area. There are roads out here. I didn't want to double back. I didn't want to double back, so I just took a shortcut, right? So this is the back of the Biotechnica greenhouses. And then there's these things. I have no idea what these things are. There's pipes on top, and then there's sheds. I guess there's machinery inside, maybe. And then big open spaces down below. I guess this would be storage. Or, you know, distribution. No idea what these are. And that, I have no idea what that is either. What is that? Ah, that does not look like any industrial process that I'm familiar with. What is that? There's some sort of industrial process here. It's pipes. So it's either a fluid or a gas. And there's some sort of processing and mixing, I guess. Like the tanks suggest that things are being mixed, I guess, or ingredients are being added. I don't know what that is. In the game, or in the world of Cyberpunk, there is a fictional biofuel called Choo, C-H-O-O-H, what, Choo 2, C-H-O-O-H 2. It's a biofuel created from genetically modified grain, and it's the replacement for gasoline, because oil has been completely depleted in this future. And so people are running on biofuel. It is highly toxic, so don't get it on your skin. But otherwise, it is apparently very energetic and a very good replacement for gasoline. So it could be that. This could be a chew factory. But who knows? Like what is chew? How do you make chew? Nobody knows. So they just make something up, right, for the science fiction. Oh, it's also sitting in water? It's sitting in water there, and there's that. Maybe this is the cooling? The water is for cooling purposes? Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? No signage, no explanations. It looks cool though. I don't know what it is, but it looks cool. Oh, while we are out here, let's look at construction methods. Let's get off the bike. So here we have concrete and steel, right? Fairly normal, we can understand this. Steel frame, concrete tanks. Over here we have steel frame again, and then sheet metal for the shed. Fairly easy to understand, we are familiar with this. And here again we have concrete frame, and this is really no different from any buildings we see today, although the way this is joined together is a little bit odd. I'm not sure if that's correct. Anyway, steel I-beams. It's bolted, so there's like steel plates cast into the concrete foundations, and then you bolt the steel column onto those steel plates. And then, I don't know what's happening there. That goes through the beam and then gets bolted to the middle bit of the beam, I guess. That's not usually how you do it. Usually, you have the concrete column. You would weld a flange. I think it's a flange. You weld a flange to the column, and then you would bolt the beam to the flange. Right? You would weld bits and you would put holes in it, and you would like bolt things together. So I'm not sure what's going on there. It kind of looks like that's going through and then being bolted there, which is complicated, and I'm not sure that's how you would do it. Up there is a bit more realistic. So you have a metal plate there, and like it's bolted to the rafter on one end and bolted to the beam on the other end, I guess. Something like that. The steel work is a little strange. So you see like those flanges there, they add extra strength to the beam, but usually we'll put it like there because if that's the rafter, the weight would be on the rafter, and so if it needs any strengthening like that, it would be there to strengthen where the weight is, and likewise there, like that would be there to strengthen where the weight is, right? So you add the strengthening where the forces are concentrated. And so here, for example, you would have bits of metal there and there, so that this continues straight up, because that's where the weight is. So there is like a logic to how the steel is shaped and how it is used, right? It's not that great here, but I guess nobody cares that much about the fine details. It's kind of right. Like if you squint a little bit, if you don't look too closely, it's mostly right. Like that. What the hell's going on there? Is it just going straight through? Why would it go straight through? No, it would like stop at the column and it'll be bolted to the column. Whereas that's just going straight through the column. Why would it do that? Right. Anyway, it's kind of right. Just don't look too closely at it. Alright, back on the bike. Oh, you'll notice there's no people. There's a whole lot of facilities. I presume this thing is operational. There is steam coming out of the cooling tower, so the cooling tower is operational, but there's no people. I guess that means these things are fully automated. And you don't need any workers at all. There are windows in the buildings though. There might be people inside, but there's no cars, so I don't know how they drive to work. So I'm not sure how any of this works. But let's interpret the lack of people and the lack of cars as meaning that everything's automated. And you don't really need people to run any of these factories. Which does not provide employment to the local economy if that's the case, right? Also there's these towers. What are these towers for? Are they guard towers? Are they observation towers? Can I get up there? I can't get up there. What are these towers and why? Yeah, no, I can't get up there. Nope. That's not a real ladder. Oh, we get a glimpse of this. So out there, beyond Northside, there is an oil field. That's out in the Badlands, and I'll talk about the Badlands in a separate video later on, but there is an old oil field out there. Those are oil pumps. So it could be that once upon a time, when there was still oil in the world, they would pump the oil out of the ground and then they would refine it right here and then they would ship it. There are ports out there, so maybe this used to be an oil production facility. This is not an oil refinery. This machinery is not an oil refinery. So maybe it's not an oil refinery anymore. Maybe they replaced the machinery to process something else. So it could be that this used to be an oil refinery. And the oil is right there. They get it out of the ground, they process it, and then they ship it. I mean, this is not what an oil refinery looks like. Who knows, right? It's science fiction, it could be anything. Out here, barely illegal, XXX. What is this? Barely illegal, XXX, and love? Somebody has set up... What is this, a brothel? It's probably illegal. Some kind of illegal sex club, I guess. Not that there's anybody here right now. Extremely sus. Extremely sus and probably illegal. I think these are prefabs, right? Prefabricated units. I mean, look. If you're all the way out here, you're probably doing something illegal. And the sign says barely illegal. So it's probably illegal. And they're just hiding out here at the back end of the industrial district where nobody comes. Except for people who know. We have a bit of a makeshift settlement over here. I don't know what this is. Homeless camp? Maybe? Again, nobody's actually here. There's mattresses, there's... what is this? Hot dog? Carts? I don't know what's going on here either. Again, the prefab accommodations. I think these are accommodations. I don't know, maybe someone's running an illegal motel out here. What are these? Who knows? Factories. Some kind of factories. There's more of these machines back there. There's more of the oil field. The oil fields are huge. A lot of oil fields. And look at that. There are pipes leading from the oil fields into the factory district. Into the industrial district. So that's why I say, like, maybe at once upon a time the oil gets piped in here and processed. This looks slightly more like an oil refinery. Oh look, Kong Tao. Kong Tao is one of the megacorps. One of the big 5 megacorps, right? It's a Kong Tao facility. Interesting. Again, no idea what's going on inside. Some sort of chemical factory. So we had a Biotechnica facility, we have a Kong Tao facility out here. Let me just check. Right, so Biotechnica is there. And including this stuff, I guess. Biotechnica is there. Kong Tao is here. I don't know how much of this is connected. And like, if this is Kong Tao, then this whole place will be Kong Tao as well, right? And you notice the big wall, right? Again, with all the megacorps, they don't want to interact with you. So the whole facility is surrounded by these high walls. And they don't interact with the surrounding area at all. The surrounding economy is completely cut off. Alright, as we come this way, we get to the old ports. Let's see, let me follow this around. So this is the waterfront. Oh, Arasaka has facilities back there. So Arasaka and another megacorp. Arasaka has a completely different district that they've taken over. So it's like a piece of Northside that they've just claimed for themselves and cut out their own district. We'll go over there in the next video. Kong Tao facilities there, Arasaka's there, Biotechnica's there. So the port, there's a Drydock here, isn't that cool? Very cool. That ship has been there for 30 years, according to the story. It's not getting fixed. It came in to be fixed, but it's never going to be fixed. So the port is completely unused now. There used to be a massive port here to serve the industrial district, I guess. But I think what happens now is that all the megacorps use the flying transports, so nobody transports anything by ship anymore. And so the shipping port is just gone, just shut down and not used. I keep trying to find one of these big transports. They usually just fly around. Can't really see them. Is that one? Oh, there's one there, way out in the distance. There are smaller flying cars, and you can see they kind of go into the big towers. So those are probably the aerial vehicle docks as well. Landing pads, I don't know what you call them. Should we go down there? There's not much to see down there. It's a dry dock. We have a big steel frame holding up the ship. And the big water gates. Oh, and the you can pump the water in and out. So there's those, where you can put the water in, pump the water in, and then... don't fall down. I fell down. And then down here you have the water outlets here, so if you want to pump the water out, they go out here, right? So the water's pumped out, and if you want to repair the hull of the ship, you can do so. There's not much to see down here. Let me get back up. I guess we can leave the bike behind. Oh, that's blocked off too, huh? So, in order to have a big dry dock like this, it implies that once upon a time, a lot of ships came through here, right? Enough ships come through here that it makes sense to have a repair facility. A whole bunch of containers over there, no longer being used. Oh, also, there's train tracks? But not normal train tracks. I think these are Maglev tracks. Magnetic levitation trains for cargo. Also, at some point in the past, there used to be a magnetic levitation train network across the United States. But since the Civil War, since the United States fell apart into separate states, and then multiple wars afterwards, the train lines don't run anymore because people don't trust each other to send trains. And there's, like, it's dangerous out in the Badlands. So the trains would get attacked. So the trains don't run anymore, but the tracks are still here, and there's still some cars here. So the ships don't run anymore, the trains don't run anymore. All the remaining business is taken by the megacorps and their flying transports. There's the ship there. Oh, by the way, this ship is not. A real cargo ship would be at least 3 times as big as this. So in a video game, you often things are shrunk down in a video game, because otherwise you can't fit huge things in a video game. So this ship is either a very small vessel, or it's a oh, there's a transport over there. It's deliberately shrunk down to fit into the game. But I want to take a look at the flying transport. We finally see one. Where'd it go? So that thing up there, that's how cargo is transported these days. I guess there's like anti-gravity drives underneath, there's a giant rocket engine or something up there. And all the containers are up top. So it's a ship, but it flies. It's basically like this, but it flies, right? So that's what we use now, and we don't use this anymore. Cool, right? And then that thing, I guess, would dock up there. It would dock up there. Very cool. We have cranes. Above there, I guess you have to access the ship somehow. Although, would you have... I guess you would have cranes in the dry dock too, because you need to, like, get components into the ship from above. More factories down there, no idea what they are. Mostly abandoned, or they look abandoned. Maybe just poorly maintained. If we head this way, more train tracks, a whole bunch of containers. These, some sort of construction material, big steel beams. You know, I don't know if you would just leave steel beams lying around, because they're kind of worth money. And this stuff, metal flooring, you could just put this stuff on the back of a truck and drive it away and sell it, right? Like, it's just money sitting on the ground. I don't know. I mean, you see what I'm saying, right? Would you abandon an industrial area? Okay, you abandon it. But if there's anything you can pick up and take away and sell for money, you would do that. You wouldn't just leave it behind while you abandon it, right? And this stuff, you could just pick it up and sell it for money, so why is it still here? What are these? Pipes? Tanks? Some sort of tanks? I want to go across. Can I cut across here? Rubbish. There's a rubbish collection shortage in Night City. Oh, can I not go this way? So, the port continues And I believe over here there's... maybe there isn't. Am I crazy? Or did I go the wrong way? Okay, there you go. Why is there a big wall behind here? Maybe it's one of the megacorps have taken over here. Oh, look at that. That's a Biotechnica building, but I don't think they use that anymore, right? Maybe back before flying transports, they used to have ships here. There is a big walled facility back there, not sure why it's walled off. I think it's part of the game. So, the ships used to dock here, and there's cranes to load cargo onto the ships, right? You see cranes on both sides. No ships anymore. Although there's still smoke coming out of the smokestack, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Apparently there's some activity, but what's active? What is it? Why is there smoke coming out of the smokestacks? Biotechnica building here, I mean it's kinda close to the giant thing. Science facility up there. And what is that? That looks residential, right? This tower here. Maybe Biotechnica employees live here. Possibly. Do I want to go that way? Oh, I'm standing in the road. Let me follow these tracks. I think I do. So these are Maglev tracks, right? There's still containers on these cars. If we come over here, I think there's a bit of a train station. Or maybe not. Maybe just like a train junction. Okay, there you go. This turns this way, following the train tracks. Back through here. And it comes in between some factories. There's more cranes over there, so there's some cargo loading and unloading going on. The cranes go across two tracks. So I think if you would need to like switch cargo between two different trains, you would do that up there. So the tracks, I'm not gonna follow the tracks, but I have done so before. If you follow the tracks that way, they disappear into the ground. And then and that's like east. If you follow those tracks that way, they go that way for a bit, they go up, they turn around and they loop around, and then they also go into the hills to the east. So I guess the idea is the cargo would come off the ships. They'll switch to the trains, and the trains would take them east inland into the rest of the United States, right? Because we are on the west coast, so the ocean is on the west. You take them and the land is to the east. You put them on the trains and you transport the cargo by train into the land, into the inland United States. I think that's the idea. So all the tracks lead to the east. But as we said, the trains don't run anymore. And there's all sorts of stuff on the tracks now. So that's the train system. Oh, while we're here, let's go check underneath this. So this is really strange here. You see that giant foot, right? You would imagine there'll be a lot of weight if that's all concrete, I assume. So enormous concrete structure. And then that would be the giant foundation, right? You would expect giant foundations here. Except there isn't. Except there isn't giant foundations here. Let's see, there's this. What is this? That doesn't actually line up with the giant leg. So all of that weight is resting on nothing. I mean, there's some steel beams and columns here, but there's no way this is strong enough to hold up all that concrete. There's a little bit of red steel frame here. Like, who thought this would work? I don't know why they made it like this. Let me jump up here. Can I get on this wall? Alright, cool. So there's a giant concrete thing up there. And then as we come down to the ground, it's empty. It's an empty space. Why? Why would that work? I would call that an oversight. I don't have any good way to explain that. Except to say that they made a mistake. Like, if they put a big concrete thing all the way to the ground, that would make more sense down here. Alright, back to the port. If we... there's a Biotechnica thing here. Let me get over to the water. There's a mega building over there, by the way. Mega buildings, if you remember, they're residential blocks. So people live there in the mega building. And I guess the plan, once upon a time, was, you know, all the factory workers, there's another one there, all the factory workers in Northside would live in the mega building and they work in the factories. That's the idea. But these days, since most of these factories don't seem like they operate anymore, it's not clear if a lot of people still live in the mega building or no. Actually, I don't want to go out there, do I? Don't think there's much to see out there. I do want to go the next one. I mean, there's smokestacks. I don't know why would there be smokestacks there? There's no factory. Is that a factory? Anyway, we're going around here. There is a ship there, by the way. So there are some ships. Maybe there are still a few factories operating here. Just not as many as they used to be, right? Oh, the train line goes above there as well. I don't know if you can see it. No, you can't see it. I think the train line comes up there and it goes around through the Arasaka district over to the west and then it turns back. But there's elevated train lines up there. Underneath the train line there's containers. Are these warehouses? Probably warehouses. Something industrial facilities. I mean, they all look closed. It doesn't look like anything happens there anymore. Right? Doesn't look like any business happens. I mean, there's still steam coming out, so it's... I don't know what to make of it. And then when you get to here... there's a bit of a market here. Why is there a market here? I mean, there's the mega building, right? Maybe people live in the mega building and they come to shopping here, but there's nothing else. Like, all the factories are closed. And there's a ship. Well, maybe stuff comes in on the ship, who knows? So if the docks are operating and if ships come and go all the time, you could imagine the sailors will come aboard to buy and sell stuff. Maybe the ships come in, they bring in cargo from distant places, and there'll be opportunities for people to trade. Like, the ships will trade between themselves and they also trade with the people who are living here because they bring in goods and products from far away. So if the ships were operating a lot, then having a market here kind of makes sense. Like, having a market near the ports kind of makes sense. So maybe that's what this is, but there's just not that many ships. There's one ship. And there's not that much activity, so I don't know if this is justifiable. But anyway, there is a market here. Look at this, they're selling cheap clothes. Probably made in China. Or made in Japan, in the world of Cyberpunk. Right? Like, you imagine the sailors, oh, I need some more clothes. They come aboard and they come on shore and they
Man, Julio's
buy
a
some
real
clothes.
bastardo, man. Santa Muerte should pay him a visit.
What's going on here?
Hey,
Is this
watch your
food?
tongue.
What? The hell, June?
Your mama teach you nothing?
The ship does have some containers on it. Presumably some cargo still comes through here. Just not very much. Let me just try and see what these buildings are. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know what they are. Like the train line's up there. Is there a train station up there? Are they gonna take the containers up to the trains? Who knows, right? There's no cranes up. Oh, I guess those cranes straddle. Oh yeah, no. This crane here straddles over the train tracks, so the trains can come in and you can put the containers on the trains, maybe? Maybe that's how that works. Alright, so we need to get back. Get over to the west. And there is a big elevation change here. Let's see, there's more containers. There's the train tracks up there turning around, going through the Arasaka facility. Okay, we want to get up here. Go uphill. Let's go check out the mega building. Right, various industrial things. So the mega building is here, and there's some commercial activities down here. Oh, how do I get across? Let's cross the street like a normal person. Or let's not. So directly under the mega building. What is that? Data Inc? Masala Studios? The studios, that's a movie studio. I don't know if... I mean, it looks closed, but the lights are on the signage. I really don't know what to make of that. Because it doesn't make any sense, right? Like, if it's closed, why are the lights on? If it's not closed, why the hell does it look like this? What's happening? Who knows? How do we get to the mega building? So this is like the back of it. Can I get in the front from here? Apparently no. You know what? Let me just jump in here. Okay. There's no road connection up here. Is that crazy? Ah, I didn't mean to fall off. There's no road connection here, really? Or is that the road connection back here? There's more... So those are the train tracks up there, right? There's the crane. That can load the trains. Not much to say about that. Alright, so here we go. The road connections are kind of awkward, but we can come back here. And then, where does that go? That's just gas tanks. I mean, none of these factories look like they're employing anyone. This guy is creating artwork. A euphemism for tagging. Alright, here we are. So now we get to the mega building. So there's the entrance to the mega building. There are a few shops at the base of the mega building, and that's about it. I don't know if anyone lives here anymore. I mean, there's people walking around. Foodscape? Is that open or closed? There's a couple of food places around here. Hometown Deli, yeah, they're all food. That's a sex shop. I guess people do live here. I can't get in, I don't think. Hold on, let me just check. Yeah, no, the security gates. Yeah, no, people do live here. Alright. I mean, if they live here, do they work in the local area? Maybe some of these factories are still open. And they still employ people. Alright, so we need to...
Hey, can't you see me?
Lady, calm down. Alright, so now if we come this way, we're gonna head back towards Little China, right? Ah man, it's bad condition. Guy's also making artwork. I mean, once upon a time, there were plenty of businesses here and plenty of shops. But the economic decline is visible. Highly visible. This is a land port. I guess you would load and unload trucks with those cranes up there. We haven't seen any cargo trucks, have we? That might be a thing with the game. Oh, this bit. Come down here. So underneath here, open 24 hours is what that says. There's an underground car park that has been turned into a homeless camp. Look at that, tents have been set up. So there's like a vertical stacking system to park your cars more vertically to save space. But tents have been set up and people are camping out here. I mean, at least it's indoors, right? So it used to be a big parking space. And it's like, there's like food carts. Fire barrels. No toilets. I wonder what they do about toilets. I wonder where they get the water from. Maybe there's vending machines. I don't know if the vending machines still work. There are people cooking food. Oh hey, kebabs. What kebabs is the question. What is that meat? And there's like these little gates down here too. I'm not sure what that means. Like, why are there Chinese/Japanese style gates inside the car park that has been turned into a homeless camp? Oh, look at all these guys. So there's a lot of people down here. I mean, there are questions, right? Like, so, okay, they live here, alright, fine. Where do they get their food and water from? And where are the toilets? And where do they work? Do they have any employment? I mean, it's possible they do have employment, and it's just they get paid so little that it doesn't pay the rent, right? It's possible that they're full-time employed. Who knows?
Well, princess.
But anyway, let's just say that living conditions in Night City are not great. Not great. Having some sort of psychological crisis. Alright, let's get back out.
What?
And then over here, this used to be a hotel. Which you might wonder, like, what? A hotel? For whom? I mean, it's always been an industrial district. Why would there be a hotel? Maybe for business guests, I guess. People on business trips. HOTE and then the L is falling off. So that used to be a hotel. The interior has been taken over by the Maelstrom, but not as a gang hideout or anything. They turned it into a dance club. And they play industrial music in there. Unfortunately, we can't go in. In some parts of the game, you can go in here. But at the end of that story, you make them unhappy and you have to run away. And so they're hostile right now. We can't... Totem Tents, you see that? So it's called Totem Tents. But he's not happy with me and we can't go inside without shooting everybody, so I won't. But inside is dark with high contrast lighting and industrial music. It's a neat EDM club. An EDM club run by a gang who is very violent and very into machines.
Walk?
Where are we going now? We're going this way?
No.
That's a dead end, it looks like.
Walk?
Maybe this way? Alright, this way. Anything to say about... Nope. Don't really have anything to say about any of this. More industrial stuff. Yeah, there's nothing going on, right? There's no commercial activity. What is that? All these buildings are abandoned. Like, you just think about... Once upon a time, there'd be businesses operating in all these buildings. What is that? A car park. That goes underground. A car park building over there. And we have dramatic economic decline. As I said, the story is that the megacorps came in and pushed everyone else out of the market, right? That says a hotel. Should we see what kind of hotel we're talking about? I hesitate. Well, nothing. Alright, never mind. Real water. Only 99 euro bucks per gallon.
Walk?
Sex shops? I mean, the sex shop looks open. We can't go inside. No, we can't go inside. So there's a sex shop there, that says 24 open, I don't know what that is. And then there's a pharmaceuticals thing over there. So like every now and then there are a few businesses that look like they're still operating, but who's buying this stuff? Nobody lives nearby, there's no money to be made nearby, so who even knows, right? I mean, it could be that they're selling something illegal and they're deliberately setting up out of the way so that the cops don't realize what they're doing. I mean, it could always be that. Or they could be serving the gangs. I mean, there are gangs operating here. So maybe there aren't any legitimate businesses out here, but there's illegitimate business out here to be done. Smuggling, drug trafficking, things like that, and maybe these businesses are a front for those illegal activities. So that's always possible. And the thing is, like, there's people here, so... what do they do? What do these people do out here? Another mega building there. I think I want to turn... Well, maybe not yet. Let me just see what's this way. There's the med center, so we're heading back towards Little China. I'm not sure if I want to go this way. Maybe I get to here and then we turn, because that's Little China for sure. Alright, I'm going to turn this way. What are this? That's the train tracks? Oh, that's right. So I said the train tracks turn around and go back towards the east. So there it is there. That's the train tracks up there. More industrial stuff, incomprehensible as ever. Alright, and that's Little China back there. And over there is the Arasaka. The Arasaka waterfront is there. Alright, so that's the end of our little walk around the Northside Industrial District, which is that stuff back there. So as we said, it used to be, there used to be a lot of factories and a lot of businesses operating out here. It used to be a real economic engine of the city. But now, these days, there are several megacorp facilities. There's clearly a Biotechnica complex, and there's a Kangtao complex, and then everything else seems to be shuttered and closed and not operational. Although there is one ship in the port, and there are still people living in the mega building, so I don't know if they work for the megacorps or if some of these factories still operate and we just didn't notice. But it doesn't look very good, right? It looks like everything is shut down except for the big facilities where the megacorps are. And if you look at the megacorp facilities, you don't see any people. They're all inside the buildings or everything is automated. So the local people basically don't have any employment. Like it doesn't contribute to the local economy anymore. Any money that's made is being made by the megacorps and not being shared with any of the local businesses. All the local businesses are in fact shut down. And that's it, that's Northside. Alright. So next time, in the next video, we're going to go see the Arasaka waterfront. So the Arasaka waterfront is basically a piece of Northside that's been taken over by Arasaka. And they've cut off their own district. So remember, there's the Biotechnica part, there's the Kangtao part, Biotechnica part, and then there's the port that nobody uses anymore, and then there's like a train line here, and then here this is the Arasaka part. So 3 megacorps have set up in the north side, and then everything else is closed. I'll see you next time.